What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight! Alright, we're coming back to Dropkick Murphys. Yes, indeed. Dropkick Murphys fans, feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. This is a request from JFK, and this is actually one of JFK's 3 prioritized requests for the month of April for being a gold tier member on the Patreon page. So, here you go, JFK. I hope you enjoy the show. JFK want to see me react to this. It is Dropkick Murphys and Bruce Springsteen performing a song called Rose Tattoo. So, yeah, Bruce Springsteen fans, feeling you as well. Okay, have I ever heard the song before? No. To the best of my knowledge, I have never heard the song before. This does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, I've heard this before, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This was posted by Guilherme da Silva. I hope I pronounced that name right. And the video has 644,636 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Dropkick Murphys and Bruce Springsteen, Rose Tattoo. Cool. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
The pictures tell the story. This life had many shades. I'd wake up every morning and before I'd start each day I'd take a drag from last night's cigarette that smoldered in its tray. Down a little something, then be on my way.
I traveled far and wide and laid this head in many ports. I was guided by a compass. I saw beauty to the north. I drew the tales of many lives or faces of my own. I had these memories all around me so I wouldn't be alone.
Some may be from showing up, others are from growing up. Sometimes I was so messed up and didn't have a clue. And when it all I'm over, I wear it just for you.
I got your name written here in a rose tattoo.
In a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo. I got your name written here in a rose tattoo.
Interesting combination of styles, especially from a vocal standpoint. I'll talk about that a little more in a minute. But I will say, the energy of the song feels good. The drive feels good. The pacing of the song feels really good. It's typical from what I remember of the last Dropkick Murphys reaction I did. The song, I think I remember making the comment that the song felt frantic in a controlled way. Like the song just constantly kept pushing forward. And I don't mean that in a tempo manner, but from phrase to phrase. Like there was never a breath taken. Like they went from, you know, from each line in the verses, it just right to the next. Bam, 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 bam. Never ever stopping once to take a pause or take a breather. And moving from phrase to phrase and from part to part. So you heard the vocal switch off, and there was usually when there's like a vocal switch off like that, there's usually like a break of some kind. I didn't really hear a break. It just steamrolled right into the next thing. Now, like I said, it's not out of control. It's not chaotic, but it's definitely steamrolling ahead, full speed ahead. So, but that's from what I remember of the other Dropkick Murphys song that I did. That's very characteristic of them. So, you know, they're staying true to par, aren't they? They sure are. All right, let's keep going here.
This one's for the mighty sea, mischief, golden piracy. This one's for the man that raised me, taught me sacrifice and bravery.
This one's for our favorite game, black and gold, we wave the flag. This one's for my family name, with pride I wear it to the grave.
Some may be from showing up, others are from growing up. Sometimes I was so messed up and didn't have a clue. I ain't winning no one over, I'll wear it just for you. I got your name written here in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo. I got your name written here in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo. I got your name written here in a rose tattoo. This one means the most to me. It stays there for eternity. A ship that always stays the course, an anchor for my every choice.
A rose that shines down from above, I signed and sealed these words in blood. I heard them one song in a song that
Played again and we sang along.
Okay, so nice little short little bridge there. 8 measures. That's all you need for a bridge, honestly. I mean, bridges will usually last a little longer than that, but a lot of the times when people write bridges for songs, they overdo it. And why they overdo it, I don't know. I've never understood that. Like, the whole purpose of the bridge is to help break up the monotony of the song and to help transition out of a solo section back into either a verse, pre-chorus, or chorus, just to kind of help transition. You don't need 64 measures to do that. You just don't. In this case, it was 8 measures. Quick, bing, bop, boop. You know, lead vocalist from Dropkick Murphys got 4. Bruce Springsteen got 4. And then moving right into the next part now. Speaking of Bruce and the lead singer from Dropkick Murphys, I mentioned I was going to talk about this earlier, and I didn't. Interesting contrast in vocal styles. The lead singer from Dropkick Murphys, very hard on the consonants. Very hard on them. Like, very accenting. Almost to the point of being harsh, but not quite. Not quite. But nonetheless, very hard accents on those consonants. Meanwhile, Bruce is more laid back and has a much softer attack on the consonants. And it's interesting hearing them, especially when they sing together. I mean, there's the harmony, and the harmony's nice. Don't get me wrong. I was going to mention the harmony anyway. The harmonies are nice, but what's really getting me is the difference of style. The differentiation of style between the two. Because like I said, you got the Dropkick Murphys guys with those super hard consonants, and then Bruce is a little more laid back and a little bit more of a softer attack on them. It's interesting. It's interesting hearing those two combined. It's a good blend, though. It's a really good blend. Let's finish this off, and we'll get to the review.
You'll always be here with me, even if you're gone.
you'll always have my love. My memory will live on.
Some may be from showing up, others are from growing up. Sometimes I was so messed up and didn't have a clue. I ain't winning no one over, I'll wear it just for you. I got your name written here in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo. I got your name written here in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo, in a rose tattoo. I got your name written here in a
Interesting ending. Huh. Interesting ending. That kind of a build-up. I was expecting something a little more grandioso, but I mean, it works. It does work. Don't get me wrong. It's just, it's not what I was expecting. Interesting song. Let me think about it, and I'll see you in the review. We'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Dropkick Murphys and Bruce Springsteen performing a song called Rose Tattoo. This was a request from JFK, and this was actually one of JFK's 3 prioritized requests for the month of April for being a gold tier member on the Patreon page. So, there you go, JFK. I hope you enjoyed the show, man. I thought about this one. It's interesting. It's a really interesting song, and I had to kind of look at it from a different perspective a little bit. But nonetheless, I do have a score here, and I feel the score is appropriate. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that a 7.6. Yep, 7.6. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, if I'm being 100% honest here, I'm not saying that the song is not 100% my cup of tea. I'm not saying that. I could see myself listening to this again. I absolutely could. I would have to be in the mood for it, though. Like, this is not something I would just put on casually and just, enjoy the song, and because, I can listen to this at any time. No. No. I would need to be in the mood to hear this song. Do those moods ever happen? They do happen. They do. It's not often, but I'll be in the mood to listen to a song like this with this kind of a feel and this kind of a feeling to it. But this is not what I would ever call my everyday go-to type of song. Now, having said that, there were a lot of really good things happening in this song. The instrumentation was great. It's very fitting for the Dropkick Murphys style of music. It's the right instrumentation for the right style of the song. So I got no issue with the instrumentation, and everybody who played the instruments did a great job. The vocals on this are really what did it more for me than anything else, and I do feel like they were kind of the center of attention. Hearing the two contrasting styles between Bruce Springsteen and the lead vocalist for Dropkick Murphy, it was interesting to hear the contrasting styles, and yet when they would sing together, it became even more interesting. There was a very clear difference when they would switch off. I never once had to sit there and scratch my head going, now who's singing this line? No, it was blatantly obvious. The lead singer for Dropkick Murphys, very hard on the consonants, very edgy in his voice, a very high-end timbre to his voice, a very high-end style of tone, where Bruce Springsteen coming in, softer attacks, not nearly as hard on them, more laid back, a little deeper tone to his voice, a little fuller tone to his voice. Still got the rasp in there, but not as much as like the lead singer from Dropkick Murphys does. So I never had to sit there and question and scratch my head and go, okay, who's singing this line? It never happened. When they would sing together, here's the funny thing. When I heard them singing separately, I thought to myself, are they ever going to do unison lines? Are they going to sing in harmonies? Are they going to sing in unison? Are they ever going to do any of that, like when we get to the chorus? And initially, I was like, I hope they don't, because I'm not sure how that's going to sound. I don't know if that's going to sound good, because their tones are significantly different. But when they did, it was a great blend, especially with the consonants, with the mix of the hard attack on the consonants by the lead singer from Dropkick Murphys and a much softer approach from Bruce, where it was kind of a layered, it ended up becoming layered in a way. It didn't really blend. I mean, it blended, but it blended in a very layered way. It didn't do this. It did this. bam, on top of each other. Or maybe this. I don't know. It could have been that as well. They did interlink, but there was you could hear the two voices clear as day, very separated, but still layered. But you could pull both of their voices out of the mix easily, very easily. And it's mostly because of their attacks. At least for me, that's how it was anyway. I know a lot of people will say it's their tone, and you're right. It is their tone as well. But the most noticeable thing for me was the difference in attacks on the consonants. So it was a great blend. I was sorely mistaken in my presumption, where I was like, I don't know if that's going to sound good when they sing together, and it ended up sounding great. The harmonies, they were well done, but I do feel like at times, like when Bruce would go down for the last line, I do kind of feel like at times it didn't exactly match up. Like it didn't exactly fall into the chordal structure. It still sounded good, but it didn't really fall into place immediately. It did. Now look, it did get there. It got there eventually, but it didn't get there right away. So there was that. But like I said, it did get there eventually. And I get the feeling with this style of a song, that kind of, for lack of a better word, that kind of sloppiness is not just acceptable, but it's kind of expected in a way. Like it's expected to be a little bit off. I get that feeling. I don't know why. I can't explain that, but I do get that feeling. Like it's, like I said, it's not even just acceptable, it's somewhat expected. So it fits. Look, it's a really good song. Okay, would I ever go as far as to say that this is an amazing song? No, I would never go that far. Would I say that this is a great song? That might be a bit of a stretch for me anyway. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be others who think this is a great song. And look, everybody is certainly entitled to their opinion. Okay, I'm not going to dispute that and say, well, that person's wrong. You know, someone comes along and gives this song like an 8.3 and 8.4. Hey, I'm not going to dispute that. If that's what they honestly think, and they really think the song deserves, like, you know, like I said, an 8.3, 8.4, I'm not going to fight that. That's fine. If that's their opinion, they're entitled to it. Absolutely. I'm just saying, for me personally, I could never give this song a great score. I just couldn't do it. But a 7.6 is a really good score by definition. It's actually pretty much right in the middle of the really good grading scale. So, yeah, 7.6 is where we're at, and 7.6 is where we're going to stay. So, 7.6, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hopefully you'll enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, then I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference to me at all, but if you guys feel like doing these things, then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.